Personality, because your Doctor is so funny as well. The dramatic moments that you do in Doctor Who are extraordinary, and you're a very fine actor. And it's very interesting watching you in Doctor Who. But I interviewed Brian Croucher recently, and he described you glowingly, I'd say, as a creative terrorist, which I think is a lovely phrase. And that, you would throw stuff in there, and good actors would respond to it, and it would be exciting. But it's very interesting seeing you when you're with an actor like Beatrix Lehman or Graham Crowden, whom you clearly respect, and your Doctor gets quite coy, because I don't know if that's Tom Baker as an actor going, this is somebody that is a match for me, I don't know.
Well, I knew, of course, that Graham Crowden had been offered Doctor Who before I got it. But I also knew I was at the National Theatre with him, and I would like to think there wasn't a mile of difference between us, actually. He had a very strange take on things, and I sometimes am accused of the same fault. But, yeah, so that's right. And with others, I remember in something called Nyman, Haunts of Nyman. There were Frederick Treves and Bill...
Oh, Bill Fraser, that's Menglos. Frederick Treves and Bill Fraser, yeah.
And I do remember the pleasure of just being with these fellas, who... just everything was oozing wonderful creativity all the time, not showing off, just looking doing it, they're aware of everything, all fingertips, and very modest about it, and bumping into each other. It was terribly funny. Oh, it was, honestly, they've died, That's a very cruel response. They were terribly nice, I suppose it's a sign of your bravery, really. Be brave to laugh at death, yes. But the thing is, it began after, of course, now, only the people who are desperate really employ me now, like Big Finish, they're now for their reckless confidence. And, but the word did get round, that, among directors particularly, that after working with me, quite a few directors died very suddenly, often in agony. And the Doctor would say, well, it came right out of the blue. And the one would say, yes. Say, well, what had he been doing? And he said, well, he'd been working with Tom Baker. And the Doctor said, so now, the people who employ me, are pretty reckless. They're willing to dice with death. You think that's not true?
The lovely thing about Frederick, because Frederick Treves is playing Bill Fraser's sidekick, and the writers thought that character was usually undercast, and he's called Brotadak, and Brotadak is an anagram of bad actor. And apparently when Frederick Treves discovered this, he broke off rehearsals and went to phone his wife to tell him. And Graham Crowden's great quote is, he said, I'm very hammy in this, but he said, I work with Edward Petherbridge, and he said, Graham, you're always a ham, but you're always perfectly cooked.
But he was so wonderful. There was a line in it when he was being beaten, Nyman, is that what he played?
Yeah.
He was being beaten. I said, do you remember when we were at the National? There was a terrific line when Flamineo, who's being stabbed, is dying. And he says, an amazing line, he says, two amazing lines, is that, first of all, he, organising the murder, the killing, the Duke of Florence said to Flamineo about this Dr. Giulio, the hitman, he said, is he competent, Flamineo? And Flamineo said, competent, my lord. He once bottled a fart that poisoned the whole of Dublin. Anyway, shortly after that he was dying, and he said, when he was dying, he said, I have caught an everlasting cold. And I told Graham about this line, so we couldn't put the other one in. And Graham said, oh yes, that's good. I like that. So we said, can we put it in? He said, yeah. So when it came to the line, Graham was dying, not at all naturalistically. What on earth is the point of dying naturalistically? Graham said, I have caught an everlasting cold. It was a sniff, of actors trying to improve on something, trying to get their stamp on it. And he did. I can't stand and walk around the stage, but he used to walk around the stage in a very strange way. And I said, why are you walking like that? And he said, the eggs, I don't want to break the shells of the eggs. Oh, I said, there's no point in saying, you couldn't say what eggs, because he would have looked at me with absolute pity and said, you mean you can't see them? Because, good storytellers live in a world of their own, and that's why we like to listen to them. You never say to a storyteller, did that really, people do say to me sometimes, did that really happen? It's so embarrassing, isn't it, when you ask me that? Listen, please, you just don't ask questions. You're putting me on the spot. If you don't believe the story, I'm deeply hurt, but don't ask me whether it happened or not, because I don't know.
You've given us so much entertainment. I'm curious, you clearly are entertained by the process of entertaining others, but if you're not with an audience, where do you get your entertainment? What entertains you? What do you enjoy?
Well, now that I live very deep in the countryside of East Sussex. Yeah, it is East. Hold on, I've got a letter here. In East Sussex. I asked my wife this morning to tell me which county. But anyway, I now live deep in the countryside in an idyllic thing surrounded by fields and animal sheep. And I've got a dog and I've got 2 cats. And every morning at first light, I'm out with my dog Poppy and the cat Jazz. She comes out into the woods with me, and I've got a torch. And I ramble and say pieces of poetry to myself to pass the time, really, because I can't see the dog because it's dark. That reminds me of, what was it Mark Twain said? Outside of a dog, a man's best friend is a book. Of course, inside a dog, it's too dark to read. The pleasure I get from my little animals is absolutely fantastic. That little dog. I just love a little lurcher, and I've got this woodland so that I don't ever meet a human being. Sometimes I meet a stag, which makes me edgy, because they're really quite formidable. And there are lots of deer, and that's charming, and so that gives me all the pleasure I need, talking to myself. And sometimes I tell myself funny stories, and that absolutely cracks me up. A farmer in a field nearby stopped me in the car the other day. He said, what were you laughing at yesterday morning at 7 o'clock? And I said, I just told myself a joke. I think it's called self-deception.
Well, but as a storyteller, you told your story in your book, Who on Earth is Tom Baker, which was a while ago now. Have you considered doing a sequel and bringing us up to date?
Well, I don't know. I tried to read that autobiography of mine quite recently, and quite honestly, I didn't believe a word of it. I recognise some names, but it is very strange, isn't it, when you recall something, and then you say, like, for example, an old story I think I told in my book, that walking past the Palladium one day, who cares about the Palladium? I should have said the Adelphi or something. Anyway, and suddenly, along in the traffic, a little voice said, hello, Tommy. I thought, Tommy? I catapulted back, and I turned around, and there was this little old lady, with long hair, too long. Old ladies with very long hair often look mad, don't they? Well, I think so. So old now. And she also had 3 or 4 bags full of tin cans. And I said, the way an actor would, trying to be urbane and things like that, I said, hello, have we worked together? And she said, don't you remember me, Tommy? And I said, Well, yes. I said, you were Kate Hardcastle at the National Theatre, weren't you? She stooped to no, she said, I wasn't. Anyway, I did about 9 of these, you know. Went through Agatha Christie, The White Devil. I said, did you play? No, I played Rosinante. She said, I said, no, I'm so sorry. I don't remember you. We were in a play together. She said, no, we used to be married. Even now, my memory is not too impaired. I've got quite a sharp memory. And I looked, and I would have remembered, honestly. I really would have remembered. I think, yeah. I said, oh, well. I said, were we happy? I thought, that's a mistake. And there was a pause, and she said, well, sometimes we were. Yeah, sometimes we were. And I said, oh, good. And how are you keeping? I said, thinking suddenly that she might be deaf. I didn't know why I said that. Why did I say, how are you keeping? You know, softly. I was standing quite close to her. Instead of which I said, and how are you keeping? And she said, can't complain, Tommy. And thanks very much for not telling our story. Goodbye. And off she went. And she went right down Regent Street, I think, Oxford Street, waving all the time. I thought she'd never stop waving. She actually backed away from me. Then she was engulfed in the traffic and no screaming.
When you finished playing the Doctor, you played a part for a long time, and as you say, it was you a little bit. You invested in the part. Was there, when you finished, you must have been in some sort of strange limbo, or even it must be like going through a bereavement in a way, where you suddenly go, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. So I wonder what the fallout was when you finished the Doctor, and if it took you a while to sort of settle back into life, or if you ever...
Yeah, well, it was devastating, yes, because I mean, what else could I do? And I hinted at, you know, having to go into the theatre. The theatre didn't interest me as much as having doing television. And of course now, that I say I'm never stopping the Doctor, working for Big Finish, you know, my happiness is absolutely complete because I am the Doctor again, and of course doing it in audio is more fun even than doing it on television. You know, television you have to do takes because cameras go wrong or something like that, or somebody forgets the line. And we bang out all these adventures, you know, and they do good post-production sound effects. And I just, well, as I say, it wasn't difficult at all because I hadn't stopped being the Doctor. But it was difficult, and I've been doing Big Finish now for about 3 years, I think. Yeah, 3 years or 4 years. So I'm way ahead. You know, I have recorded things which I won't live to hear. Yeah. No, please. I'm not looking for sympathy. Is everyone all right for money? So yes, it was quite difficult, but then I am back there, and I couldn't. You know, I did 178. I get obsessed. I was very bad at arithmetic when I was still am really, but now that I've got a computer, I was only thinking this morning that I have been alive because I was up early thinking about you. I have been alive now 29,500 days. God, that's amazing. That's 960 months, yeah. 4,000 weeks. Do you want it in minutes? And as the average life is, you know, less than 1,000 months, you know, it's amazing, isn't it? God. Wow, come on, Toby.
Well,